Where were you born?
Columbus, Ohio.
And tell me about your home life growing up. What was it like?
Say it again.
Tell me about your home life growing up.
I was good. It was, mother and father and three younger brothers. Was the oldest of four. Pretty good childhood, and it was a good childhood. Had a pretty good life.
And what kind of neighborhood did you grow up in? Is now a good time, sir?
Pardon?
Is now a good time to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of neighborhood did you grow up in?
Good neighborhood. Played football in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Ran around. That was pretty cool. Played, little league football, basketball, boxed, and pretty good childhood growing up.
I heard you were really good at basketball. You were in the Hall of Fame, I heard. You got inducted in the Hall of Fame, I heard, for basketball.
Yeah.
That's good. So you're an athlete. Did you actually
That was first love. That was the first love.
Yeah?
Basketball, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you,
enjoyed playing it.
Was boxing your favorite sport, or you loved basketball more than anything?
I enjoyed boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I really had developed a strong passion for basketball. Growing up, basketball was pretty big in the neighborhood, growing up. Then the high school I went to, we were nationally ranked for basketball and stuff. And I was a junior, and we were like number 2 in the country. And it was starting from grade school. Basketball took pretty much, it was nose to nose with boxing, but basketball kind of edged it out at the time.
Well, the world got lucky.
Yeah.
And what was your relationship like with your father at the time?
It was good. He was very instrumental in my growing up, my development, and it was a relationship. He had of course, he was a renowned boxer, and professionally, and we had a boxing team on the east side of Columbus at a local recreation center, Blackburn Recreation Center. And I really enjoyed going there, hanging out with the other fighters and stuff, and training and competing. We had a strong amateur program in Columbus, Ohio, and learned a lot. We traveled, throughout the state and outside the state. Like guys that, I ran into throughout my amateur career, I ran into a lot of them too, different weight classes and stuff in different states. And we're just excited to see everybody's development and, seeing how far, different accomplishments we all achieve.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, I just lost my spot. How old were you when you first went to a gym?
10.
10?
I was 10 years old when I started. And, I was over at Blackburn Recreation Center on the east side of Columbus. And it was a really exciting time for me because, I not only got to train with the smaller guys, but while working there at the rec center, I got to stay over and be with the teenagers. So I got to see both sides. And it was, to me, I always thought of it helped me in my development as an individual, growing up.
Mm-hmm. And before you went to the gym, did your father already show you some things before you went?
Really?
No? He just let you do what you wanted and pick what you wanted?
Yeah. Then when I went to the gym, you know, of course he had us all, you know, working out and training and stuff, but not no specific, you know, special treatment or anything. You know.
And were you good right away?
Yeah, I went before I was like, you know, about 10-0 before I had the first loss as an amateur. Then in you know, it was the junior, intermediate, senior division. I was like one of the tops in my division, you know, at that time. And fought alongside with Jerry Page, who became an Olympic gold medalist. You know, it was just it was a very exciting time, you know, in the development as a man as well as an athlete.
And how old were you when you thought that boxing was going to be the thing you wanted to do in your life?
Say it again?
How old were you when you thought that boxing was going to be the career you pick?
21.
And
yeah.
And
yeah.
What was your amateur record when you were all done?
You know, it probably was, you know, I had quite a few amateur fights, probably about 80 fights, and, you know, maybe about, you know, 12, 15 losses out of that. Yeah, so it was pretty good since I've been, and really just before I was getting ready to go into the open division, that's when I got involved with, you know, basketball and football and stuff like that. You know, and then I came back to it as an adult, as a pro at 21.
And when you first turned pro, were you hyped already? Like, was there a lot of people wanting to represent you?
No, not at all. I was hyped. My father was hyped about it, but it wasn't no interest about, you know, us, you know. But
how did your mom feel about you wanting to box?
Huh?
Was your mom happy with you deciding to become a professional boxer?
She was all right with it as long as I applied myself, you know. Because I mean, she went through it with my dad, and she knew what it took to, you know, get to the point to where, you know, to be one of the best in the world. So, you know, apply myself accordingly. Then she was cool with it. She was very supportive.
And when you decided to turn pro, you had your first fight. Who was your first pro fight against, and what was the result?
It was at the Mount Vernon Plaza in Columbus, Ohio, and it was like a 4-round decision.
Do you remember that guy's name or no?
Yeah, Dan O'Malley.
So you consider that your first professional fight?
Yeah, you know, and that's how it's on the record. You know, even though it was like on the undercard, one of my father's pro bouts that he promoted, but it was really an exhibition. I had lost my amateur status and everything by being on that card, so that became my first pro fight.
Yeah. And how'd you feel after that first pro win?
It was cool. You know, it was cool. Like I said, I was pretty excited. You know, you know, venture.
Now, did you have that real nice jab that you had all the time, or did you develop it more as you got on?
Well, in amateurs as well. You know, it was just I developed it more as a pro. You know.
Yeah.
Got to really be positive.
I'm sorry. Sometimes your phone's going. I keep thinking you're done because your phone kind of goes out for a second.
Oh, okay.
If I overtalk you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was something I developed as an amateur. You know, because I was always, you know, wanting to be effective, and you know, I felt being with both hands instead of using the jab to set up for the right hand. You know, I used the jab to hurt you as well. It wasn't a thing where, you know, how guys usually, you know, be a southpaw, right? You always looked out for the left hand or the right hand, depending on the strong hand. I was always effective.
Yeah, you had one of the nicest jabs I ever saw.
Thanks.
And in your fourth fight, you fought against David Bay. What happened in that fight?
You know what, man? David Bay was a big-time card. The card with Larry Holmes. I think Larry Holmes and Renardo Snipes.
Uh-huh.
He was in Pittsburgh, and really just messed around before the fight, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Went in there, just knowing I had something to do what I did. It was a learning experience, that I felt I had to go through because, it was something that made me realize just how tough it was and how determined you had to be to be in the game, and you can't be messing around and taking it lightly. So that was really one of the determining factors of making me decide whether or not I was going to be for real about it or not. And with that loss, I really became even more determined, succeeding in the sport.
Mm-hmm. And then you put some wins together, and then you fought Steven Tankstead. You were deducted some points for what? Do you remember what?
Yeah, hitting on the brakes.
Yeah, okay.
That's when we fought in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was just being overly aggressive. I knew what I was up against, and I know he had been coming in the United States to be getting fights and then go back to his country. So I knew I had to put together, I had to knock him out to even get the win, I was just trying to get him any way I could. And I was trying to intimidate him as well, hitting him on a break and just be really aggressive and, take him out of this game. But that fight ended up as a draw, I think.
Yeah.
I really believe I won. But, before they even announced the scorecard, they said, well, we took a couple before the fight, during the fight, and then they called it a draw.
Mm-hmm.
But, for me, that was a victory in itself because, you had to knock the guy out to win, and then for me to walk out of there with a draw was pretty impressive, I thought.
Yeah. And then you lost to Mike White. What happened? Why was that fight stopped? Do you remember why?
Oh, I got caught. That was the first time I really got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Atlantic City, and really doing very well throughout the fight. I mean, hitting a guy with big shots and blam, blam, and that was one of my first major contracts I had signed with Russell Pelt, and I lost that contract after that fight too. So it was back to the drawing board.
How'd you feel after that?
I was crushed, but even more determined. That I knew I didn't. I knew I could have done better. It wasn't like I was at my best. You know what I mean? And it was more. It made me more determined to succeed. So
you were dead set on continuing. You weren't thinking about quitting.
Exactly. Never thought about because I knew. I could have came out of that victoriously. And then, when I came up off the stool for that 8th round, I was like, well, this is it. It's over. Like it was over. Like the fight was mine. And that was a focus thing. I remember that specifically. Then got caught. Bam! And then I thought, man, that was a pretty good shot. And next thing you know, I was picking myself up off the ground.
Oh, wow.
That was the first time I really got hurt.
Yeah. And, tell me about the David Starkey fight. That was crazy. What happened?
Right. Then that's when, See, that's when we fought at this local Reynoldsburg, right just outside of Columbus, and that was a tough night, man. Went in there, to fight the guy, and, was cracking the guy pretty good. He was probably about, a couple of inches or so tall, about 6'6", 6'7". And, I hit him, and I guess he was on his knee. Then I came through with another punch and hit him again, and then he jumped up, and then he went berserk and grabbed me, and then became a tussle, and then, they held the purse up, didn't get paid that night. That was really upsetting, because I was really looking forward to that money. I'm serious, man. That was a tough time, too.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Like, oh, I'm counting on that money, and then ended up walking out there with nothing. Then they go to the boxing commission and, you know, file a claim or whatever, but that was non-void. You know, they kept that money.
Uh-huh. Whose corner came in first? You don't even know?
I have no idea. I know it was pandemonium, man. It was chaos, man. And then afterwards, it was just, you know, fights in the locker room. You know, my dad was pissed off, and you know, it was pretty bad night.
Yeah. And then you took the Tex Cobb fight on 3 days' notice, I think, for Burbick, right?
Yeah, I was at home, and I got the call. Said, well, you know, John asked me about Tex Cobb. So what do you think about it? I said, well, he can be beat, you know, sitting there in my living room. I remember, and then he said, so when is this going to happen? He said, Friday. I think it was Tuesday. Man. I hadn't fought in a while, too. You know, so that fight came like last minute.
Yeah. And tell me about the fight itself.
Oh, it was first time in Vegas. And, you know, flying in, I looked at all the strip, and I thought the strip was the airport. You know, and then we flew past that and landed at the airport, and all the bright lights and stuff, and where we fought at? The Riviera. Yeah, fought at the Riviera, and it was outside in the parking lot. And then they had to fight like I was gloved for about 2 hours at least. I know 2 hours for sure, waiting for it, because we had us in there like one of the co-feature or something. One of them 10-round fights went short, and they would put us in. But then of course we fought after the main event, and it was an experience, man. I was really hyped, man. Once the fight got going and stuff, man, and you know, got the win, man. That was a big win.
And what did you feel with Tex Cobb? Was he?
You know, I was really impressed, because I was like, you know, that really made me I belong, because I seen this guy fight for the title, you know, go the distance, a tough son of a gun, and yet, you know, I was in there with him and working, you know, dealing with it, you know, and, you know, beat him. I mean, it was pretty convincingly, because I was cracking him with some good shots and stuff, and you know, that was, and, you know, I couldn't even sleep that night, man, because I was just pumped, because I know he was like a contender at the time. Yeah. You know, he was in the top 10.
Now, what did you think of his chin? Did you ever hit him with something that was crazy and you're shocked?
Yeah, I hit him with some good shots. But, you know, I just kept punching, you know. You know, then he was after the fight, he said, yeah, you know, good fight. He said, we got to do that again. My uncle was like, bullshit. Yeah, so he was like,
he was mad about it?
Huh?
Was he mad about it? Or was he okay?
Who?
Tex. He wanted to do it again.
No, he was cool. He was real cool. He was like, man, you know, I'm glad it was you. You know, that's what he told me. He said, I'm glad it was you, because he, you know, I guess he's a tough son of a gun. He ain't like nobody else. I guess he couldn't tolerate any of those other guys beating him. But when I beat him, he was like, I'm glad it was you, man. You know, so it was like you know, good luck. You know.
Yeah, that's cool. Then ESPN put the tournament together, and you fought Deion Simpson. I know it was quick, but what do you remember about that fight?
Caught him with a good shot, you know, overhand, and I know he was pretty strong. You know, he hit me with a good shot. I know he could punch a little bit, but you know, I caught him and hurt him. Yeah.
And then you fought Jesse Ferguson.
Yeah, man. And I fought Jesse, man, and lost that fight, man. Just, I don't know, mentally I wasn't there.
Okay.
You know, it just never really got off, you know. And, just terrible, horrible fight. Another learning experience, but, you know, horrible fight.
So nothing special about
car, man.
Say it again? I'm sorry.
For the winning fight, we was fighting for a car, you know. You know, you got like that Buick Skylark or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about Jesse? You think it was just you just were flat that night, or was there anything special?
Yeah,
about
you know, just one of those nights, man. It's just it just wasn't clicking, man, because I was feeling, you know, like I said, I had just come off a big knockout, you know, and then went in there with Jesse, and you know, just couldn't get it going. Never got on the rhythm, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just a tough night.
And you got that real nice win against Greg Page. What was it like fighting Greg?
That was exciting too, because you know, and that was a real nice time down in Atlanta, man. It was nice. And then fighting Greg was because I've seen him throughout his amateur career, you know, and then he's professional champion and stuff, and then get an opportunity to fight him, you know, it was just I felt good, man. I really felt good, and you know, that I was going to show. They knew it was a big opportunity for me, and I just took advantage of it and got their win. Street fighting, because he was a really good boxer.
Yeah.
And then the outmastering him was, you know, pretty significant.
And you felt great after the win, I'm sure, right?
But,
you felt great after that win, right?
oh, yeah, that was a big win, man, yeah, because, you know, it got me to the top 10.
Yeah. Then, I don't know if you remember much about David Jacko, but what do you remember about that fight?
Yeah, Jacko, yeah, he was a tall, awkward guy. You know, out of Toledo. I think he was out of Toledo. He was just an awkward type of fighter, but, you know, just being aggressive, you know, kept throwing punches and, you know, wanted just being aggressive, I think.
And how did you find out that you got the title fight with Tony Tucker coming up? Who told you about that? It became official.
That was because they stripped. I was number 2 in the world at the time, and Tucker was number 1, and they stripped Larry Holmes of the IBF title, and we fought for the vacant title. So the number 1, number 2 contender fought for that title, and so we got that shot, the first shot, and that was a pretty tough time because the camp was not the best camp. You know, I had my dad involved with me at the camp, and he didn't like, you know, a lot of people. He didn't like, you know, John and JD, and you know, it was just because, you know, it was a really uneasy camp because you know, most of the camps are just everything goes, everybody's getting along and focused on one goal, and that's to get me ready for the fight. And in this case, it was just that, you know, my dad was just being Bill Douglas, man, and, you know, he didn't like him. You know, he just really just kept he just wasn't really being social. And it made a lot of tension, you know, there was a lot of tension throughout the camp. I mean, I was in great shape and stuff for the fight and stuff, but mentally it was just an easy thing, and then he carried over to the fight, you know. And I had been in camp with Tony, you know, earlier in our careers, you know. My dad took me up to Detroit. We spent the weekend up there working out with Tucker, and you know, I did pretty good with him in the gym and stuff. I know it's different from the gym to the ring, but you know, it was just really one of my best performances. That's all.
And boxing's such a big mental sport.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. Mental. The mental. If you set mentally, man, you have a great chance of winning, and you know your conditioning is good. You know, it makes it a lot easier. But you know, it was very stressful. You know, preparing for that fight because I said again, it was just you know, everybody wasn't comfortable. You know. So then after that fight, my father and I really kind of split ways as far as him being my main trainer. And then it was just you know, Johnny, JD, and then whoever we brought in to you know, work with me or something, you know. But you know, it worked out though for the best.
Did that cause a family tension?
A little bit, but you know, I think it really subsided because I was still coming over to the house talking to him about what I did leading up to the fight. I mean, you know, training wise and stuff, kept him a part of it like that, you know. But you know, it was just you know, it was a stressful time while he was actually in the gym with me because you know, the way he wasn't being very cordial to nobody else but me, you know. And I felt the tension, and everybody else did too.
Yeah. And what about the Tony Tucker fight itself? What do you think of Tony Tucker that night? Was he extra on, or do you just think it was just your mental lapse and the way the training camp went.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Were you impressed with the way Tony fought that night, or do you think it was more just because of the camp itself and?
Oh, yeah, Tony fought well. I mean, they came to get it, man. I mean, he was always a professional. I mean, like I said, when I trained with him a few years earlier, we were both coming up, and him and his dad, they were, very professional and had their eye on the prize. They knew what they wanted. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And to fight a guy like that, not only fight a guy like that, but beat a guy like that, you got to be on top of your game. And that night, I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. And how'd you feel after it was over and you left empty-handed?
Yeah, I was even more determined. I mean, it just made me, it would just be so close to the prize, and come up short like that, But it just, again, it just, determination just even got even more intense. Like, well, I just had to make a few changes. I had to give it another shot, get it back in there.
Yeah, and obviously you were feeling it because you wouldn't have got rid of your father. You could tell that you really needed to make a move, and you did.
Yeah, I knew that's what it had to be for, not only for me, but for everybody, to make the whole, because, I like everything to be, everybody to get along and everybody to be cool. It's like, look, main focus is me, so while everybody thinking about me, then it's all good, But in this case, it was just, thoughts all over the place, My dad was just, he wasn't being, a team player at the time,
Yeah. Then you made your camp the way you wanted it to be, and you got some good wins, and you got a good win over Jerry Halston.
I understood it. That's the way. That's his makeup. That's the way he is,
Yeah.
But it was just that the people around me that I cared about, it wasn't, they didn't understand. It's like, well, something had to be done because this is what I want to do and what I want to be successful at. I had a choice,
What was the fight with Jerry Halstead like?
Jerry Halstead.
Do you remember Jerry Halstead?
Oh, Wimpy Halstead. That was pretty cool. That was a good fight. Out of Oklahoma, worked with him. Kid out of Oklahoma became a champ, Sean O'Grady. His corner. And that was a good fight, Should have stopped him, but he was pretty quick, though. For heavyweight, that was his asset. Yeah, he could get away from the big shots. Just got away from him, He was a small guy, but he was tough.
So you're saying he was like slick and wimpy?
Yeah, wimpy. That's somebody in the crowd. Wimpy. Yeah, he was just missing him. Shoot. He knew he seen the big ones coming. Yeah.
You just got out of there.
Yeah, just got out of the way.
And then you fought Mike Williams. What was that fight like? Anything impressive about Mike Williams?
Fight that, I was, felt good, and everybody was screaming about him because he had just got through going 10 rounds with Tim Weatherspoon, and everybody thought he beat him. They were really high on him and stuff, but it wasn't a concern of mine. And I just took him out easy, really. That was pretty easy because he was built like, he was built beautifully built,
Yeah. So
I was dropping him with jab.
Yeah. You can do that when you got a jab like that.
Yeah.
And then you fought Trevor Berbick.
Trevor. Yeah, Trevor. I felt I could have fought Trevor even better, but I didn't eat dinner that day, man. I was in there kind of, a little weak. Because I was so concerned about weight. I came in like at 227, and and I was just, I think that fight was really, nerves kind of got to me. Cause I didn't eat that night, for dinner. I ate my dinner, and kind of felt it during the fight. I felt, not that strong.
Yeah. So, but you still won, and that's good. It's good that you could win when you're not at your best. Then you fought a young Oliver McCall. What was a young McCall like?
a call fight was something because he was harassing me all week up at Atlantic City on the boardwalk. We get to eat the meal, me and the team. We walking down our boardwalk, and he and Greg Page come out. You know, he looking like, you know, all this whooping and stuff. And there, you know, then my little brother Bill ready to go over there and attack him. I had to grab Bill, like, man, you know, fuck him, man. Don't worry about him, man. You know, Bill didn't like him walking up on us like he was trying to punk everybody, you know. And so he went. Bill went Bill Battlers on him and had to grab him like, man, that's all right, man. I'm going to get him, man, you know. And, you know, fought him and beat him.
Mm-hmm. So what did he say after the fight when you beat him?
After the fight. He looked pretty slick, though. He had some nice trunks on. He had them Philadelphia trunks on, them long ones. Like trunks with the red stripe. He looked pretty good as far as cosmetically, you know. Yeah, I'm like, no, he got a nice little outfit on there.
Yeah. Then
you know what? It's weird, but you see, I see stuff like that. Be like, oh, okay, got a nice little outfit on. Like he can poke something. He know what he's doing.
Yeah, you wanted to see what he was going to be sitting on when you punched him. You know?
Right.
But who'd know his chin was that good? He did have a chin.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Couldn't stop him.
He's a tough guy.
Yeah. We didn't know that then, though. He was kind of young yet. But then you got the big fight. How'd you hear about that? That you were in the Tyson sweepstakes to begin with?
John called and said we had to fight, you know.
Did you even know they were thinking about you yet?
I knew I was close. I knew I was right in the, you know, come on. I was like right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was number 2.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think it was a fight that we were going to fight in Atlantic City, and that fight got postponed. Then they said we had the next one. Yep, that's how we ended up getting that shot.
Now, before you even got the shot, did you had to imagine yourself fighting Tyson? Did you think you could beat him already, or were you not sure?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I had a good chance. I mean, you know, I wasn't, you know, all that hype and shit. I wasn't into that, you know. But I mean, I looked at him like he was all right. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I see a lot of guys. Like by that time I got to fight him, hell, he had went through, you know, several guys that was in there scared to death. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're in there with that kind of tension on you, man, as soon as you get touched, you crack. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Makes the punches even more powerful.
Yeah.
You know, when you anticipate a thunderous shot.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you know, it was just like, I knew it was my time because of what was going on in my life at the time. It was just hard. My personal life was in a shambles. You know, things were going all haywire and stuff, but I maintained focus because I knew it must be something bigger on the horizon. For all this stuff to be going on with my life. And then my mom ended up passing. That was really the silk deal, you know, like, this is crazy, you know. But, you know, training went well, going well, and, you know, I just felt even more determined and confident.
Now, when your mom did pass, did you consider pulling out? Or?
Never. Never considered. John called me and asked me. I said no. Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Good. You know, because I went over to his house and told him. I said no. It was all good.
Yeah. And tell us about your mom. What was your relationship like with her? Real tight, right?
Yes, man. That was my heart, man, because, you know, she, man, every time I fought and stuff, I would give her money, you know, and, you know, it was just, I tell you, after if she was, you know, she was my best friend, and she was my, and I love my mother, man. I always wanted to do good for my mom, you know, and it would just please her.
Yeah. And what did you feel inside? Was there did you feel the fire get lit after that? Did you just want to? How did you feel after you found out that your mom passed? Did it light a fire?
When I went over there and yeah, she was already gone, but she was in the bedroom. The paramedics and stuff had left. I was just even more determined. You know, it just intensified my determination. Because I knew that's what she would have won it. She wouldn't have wanted me not to be able to continue. She was a very strong woman. My mother ran the house. I mean, my father was the head of the household, but you wouldn't tell. But whatever she wanted and whatever she did, that was it. She was there with all men. It was me and my 4 brothers and my dad and her, and it didn't matter. If Lula said something, that was it. She had him. If she told him to do something to us, that was it for you. Yeah.
So your mom was the boss.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Beautiful woman, man, and it's the world to me.
Yeah. Yep. I know how you feel. And then when you got to Japan, how'd you like Japan? How'd they treat you there?
They treated me well. Good palace, really nice hotel and stuff, and it was really nice. Accommodations were great.
And what was the build-up for the fight like?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, they had decent press coverage and stuff at the fight, But I'm on the press stayed over at the Great Otani where Tyson and them stayed at, of course. But like when I had my workouts, I had some press there, asking questions and stuff, But it wasn't nothing like when he was at the camp, when he had his time in the gym, of course, it was like wall to wall.
Yeah.
But when I was there, he had a group of people there, that was curious. I guess he had to ask me something. And they had to have a picture of something. Like, this is the next victim. This is what you think is, like, okay. Even though it was written in Japanese, I knew fine well what they were saying.
It just looked like the symbol of victim, right?
Yeah.
Then, did Tyson and you talk at all before the fight?
Never.
No. And how'd you feel? Oh, I'm sorry. Not at all. And tell me about the night of the fight. How'd you feel inside?
I felt good. It was relaxed. That was the main thing. I was really relaxed. And, I felt confident about what I did preparing for this fight. I felt that I was ready for the fight, And it was just getting in there, getting that first punch off, You're really getting to the fight, get relaxed mode.
And then when you're walking to the ring, were you surprised by the crowd yet? Or did it not even seem out of the ordinary yet?
No, I was pumped, man, ready to just go in there and do my thing. I knew it was on then. My biggest fear leading up to that fight was that it wasn't going to happen. It was going to be a postponement or something. Something was going to happen to where it wasn't going to go through. Get delayed. And once we started coming out the dressing room, I knew it was on in. Wasn't no looking back there.
And when the first bell rang, what did you think of Mike's initial punches and the first time you felt what he had?
It wasn't something I hadn't felt before. Wasn't no, he really hit hard. Nothing like that, because I've been hit a lot harder, before. But it was just, like I said, I maintained calmness, and I was ready to go ahead and get it on.
Was there any talking going on during the fight?
No, you don't do no talking, man. That's crazy. It's a joke, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't talk. It was all about, the fight, on punches.
At what point in the fight? I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
On top of it, that's what it's all about. And then and the part that I thought I was winning the fight is when just before I got knocked down. I was like, man, I'm doing super fantastic. Rap got caught with a shot, standing right in front of him.
Yeah.
Squared up, both shoulders parallel, and that's where I got caught with the shot.
Did you see it at all, or did you?
No, I felt the force. Like it was like, the impact. Because I thought that, I was trying to, catch myself. That I wasn't hurt. It was like I was pushed. down and everything. I knew I was coherent. I knew exactly where I was.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel like the ref's count was long, or you just weren't even thinking about that?
Like any other time.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't no long count. I didn't feel like it was like a long time or anything, even though that's what they were speaking about after the fight. It turns out that his count was longer than mine.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, when they had it on the clock, you could tell it was like,
Yeah.
it was longer.
Yeah, that's true. And then, let's see. How surprised were you when Tyson hit the floor?
Well, I still thought he was going to get up. But when I seen him reaching around for that mouthpiece, I knew he was hurt. I was like, it was over. But then, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was a fight. Outside of that knockdown in the 8th.
Yeah. And take me through that time from when he fell. Like, how excited were you when the ref waved his hands? Did it hit you yet? Did you feel like that was it? You were the champ after that, or did it not even sink in yet?
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It was, you know, dream come true. You know, looking at all those pictures of Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard and the Tommy Hearns and the marvelous Marvin Hagler, you know, with their belts on and the centerfolds, you know, magazines, and then actually accomplish a childhood dream was just an awesome experience, awesome thing, man.
Yeah. Did you?
Living the dream.
Yeah. Did you sleep that night?
Yeah, I don't know.
What'd you do in Japan that night?
Seen pictures of that, but you know, I was like, you know, wow.
Did you have a lot of fun in Japan after that? Just celebrate?
You know, not really celebrate, but just reflecting. You know, like wow, you know. You know, my trainer and I, John Russell, we were sitting in the room. It's like wow, you know. Wow.
Yeah. I can't imagine. And
Yeah.
what did Mike say to you after the fight? Anything?
Nothing. Nobody said nothing.
And was there a post-fight press conference? I don't remember hearing anything about it.
Well, it was, but we weren't involved. Well, let me see. They were over there talking about, they had a press conference after the fight. Yeah, they did, but we didn't. You know, we didn't go. They were over there talking about the protest and the decision and all that outcome. And, you know, it's like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Got it on the plane and came on home.
Yeah. And did you hear anything about Don King wanting to get the WBC to take the title away, or what did you think about all that stuff going on?
Yeah, I thought that was like, oh, baby. You know what I mean? Like, now they counting. First time didn't go their way, now they want to, you know, pout about it.
Yeah. Did the stripping ever did you ever hear anything that it really might happen from the WBC themselves or anything?
Yeah, I heard about it, but then the public outpour was so tremendous that they would let it go. I think that's what really stopped them from, not only it was on the TV, and then the public outpour was like, whatever, don't even trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that was the public outpour. Then they went on and let it go because with nobody really following them behind it. I'm like, whatever. Yeah.
And what was the media like in the weeks following? How long did it take for the shock to wear off and stuff? How was life different?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, it was like no other. I'm telling you. You know, I never got a break. I mean, I was always like, I was the thing. You know, it was like, and pulled in every which direction, every which way.
Yeah.
From walking in the main entrance, walking through the kitchen. You know.
Yeah. When it finally did go away, how is it like now with the passing of your mother mixed with probably the greatest moment?
Oh yeah, see that was all like a big snowball, all at once came back around. Pow.
And then how'd you find out you had a video game deal going? How'd that come up?
With Sega, my publicity guy that went out and getting promotional deals from me. Told me they were coming out with a Buster Douglas deal to Sega.
Mm-hmm. And were you a video game player?
Not really.
No? Did you play your game?
Yeah.
How'd you do? Did you ever beat Buster Douglas?
I was Buster Douglas.
Oh, you beat Buster Douglas?
I don't think I really ever played the game, truthfully.
No?
Kid, I played it, but,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played it. It was fun. A fun game.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah, it was pretty wild, though. I was like, wow, video game, ain't that something?
Yeah. Amazing. What'd you think of how you looked in the game?
Huh?
What'd you think of how you looked in the game?
Oh, it was cool. I like the cover shot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool, man. I'm telling you, it was, remember, it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm. And how come you turned down the rematch for all that money?
But I was pissed at what they did, how they were acting and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm just asking. So you just didn't want to even go through it again with Don King and all the shit with Tyson and stuff? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, call drop.
Okay. I thought it was my phone. My phone dies like that sometimes. So you just didn't want to go through the second fight again with him? Or were you just trying to make him wait a little?
Yeah, but I was just pissed at him, for how they really messed up my victory lap, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
They had to go to court and all that, man. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the best part of that was hearing my name announced as the heavyweight champion of the world, then leaving the ring, and then once after that, it was a nightmare. It became a nightmare quickly. It was like, well, he might have won the fight, but he ain't gonna win the war. It was gonna make his life miserable, and that's what they did. Because it was like, by the time the fight came around, the defense came around, it was all messed up, man.
Did it affect your training camp for the Holyfield fight?
Yeah, it just carried over and everything. Because we had to go to, I think it ended in New York, go to court, and they ended up settling. Then right after that, I had to go right into the training camp. And it was really messed up to get things going again.
Mm-hmm.
The whole 6 months, 4.5 months of it was dealing with to even be recognized as a champion, the clear-cut champion.
Mm-hmm.
I was flying around from New York to Columbus, Vegas, talking to attorneys, lawyers, trying to figure out where it was going to be, the trial was going to be held at, different law firms, state the case, it was horrible.
Yeah. And you can't fight a guy like Holyfield with a, life in disarray like that.
Exactly.
And so training camp was lousy for the Holyfield fight?
Very lousy. Yeah, it was. It was lousy. Of course, you go from. We went from maybe generally training for the Tyson fight before leaving Tokyo. It might have been 10 or 15 people in the gym, including sparring partners, to like 50.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild. Never really got on track after that,
Yeah, it's tough.
Never got on track.
It would be like if someone just gave a poor man a few $1 million. It's like, you know, you don't know how to do anything with it really. You're just going to go crazy, I think. You know, you got to learn how to deal with things and stuff. But
Yeah, you never got to settle in, so to speak.
mm-hmm. And what happened during the fight itself? Do you remember the fight?
It was just, I don't know, it was bad, man. Out of body experience, just mentally wasn't there. It was just the desire. It was hard. It was really hard to, you know.
Did you kind of not want to be fighting at all?
You know what? It was like, no, because really, like when that dude that came into the ring when the Holyfield and Bo was fighting that Paracel guy, that was something like that would have happened when I fought, man. I'd have been out of there. I wouldn't have been out of there. That was my chance to exit. You know, we had to redo it. You know.
Yeah. Where was the fan man that night?
Exactly. Where were you at? You did all that time. You should have did it when I was there. I would have still been there.
Yeah. I wish you could have been in shape that night because I think it would have been a great fight, man.
Really? That's yeah.
It sucks, man. All the stuff you had to go through.
Afterwards, throughout the 90s, because I was really sad, depressed, you know, and it kind of carried over into my life, and that kind of why I ended up putting on all that weight, and it was pretty bad.
So you after that you went into like a diabetic coma?
Right.
Did you have diabetes before that?
No, I didn't have it. I didn't have diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have it then. I guess I was always on borderline, you know, I don't know. Never was told that, but, you know, once I got, you know, came on me, you know, it kind of left me in, like, in 96, for a couple of years, and then it came back in 98.
Mm-hmm. And, no, so your diabetes came back in 98?
Yeah, so I was off everything for a couple of years, and then it came back on me again.
And then, let me see. So you went up to 400 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And then it came back in 98, you said. Because I wanted to ask you some questions about it, but you already answered it, so I kind of lost my spot now.
Oh, okay.
Where were you? You were just depressed, and that's why you just kept eating and stuff, and you just went into a...
Yeah, he really was drinking.
Yeah.
Eating and drinking and stuff.
And how did you lose weight? And what did you do?
Really been a pretty good... I was really, really depressed. I was really down on that, the way it all came crashing to an end. Gotta be careful about what you wish for, man.
Yeah. And when you woke up from the coma, did you remember anything about before the coma? How did you feel when you woke up?
I felt like I had a second chance. Man, you know, all these doctors, when I came to, then I was like, oh, you know, they were looking at me like, man, you know, you got to do this. Look, I know what I got to do. Just get me up out of here. I'm all right now, you know. I did all that. I'm ready to get back into the game. Let me back, coach. I'm tired of being on the bench.
Yeah. And how long were you in the coma for?
About 3 days.
Oh, wow. Did you hear anything or feel anything? No. And then how did you lose weight? Did you just go back into like training camp mode?
Stopped drinking and started eating, and I called my buddy Jim Russell, the trainer, and he came and we started, you know, walking and stuff and working out, you know, gradually, and you know, as I got stronger, picked it up more and more, and then I was back running and, you know, working out, and lifting weights, and it felt like me again.
And how long after you started feeling like you again did you think of an official comeback and doing it again?
The more stronger I got, the better I felt, the more I thought about it, you know. So it was probably, you know, 6 months, 8 months into it that I started feeling like, you know, things were starting to come around. I started feeling strong, started feeling good again. wanting to try it again.
Hmm. And how was your first training camp back? How'd you feel that? Did you feel rusty at all?
Oh, I feel pretty good. You know, yeah, I felt really good and stuff, and I was excited. I was excited about having an opportunity to be back out there again.
Yeah, it was exciting to see you back. And you returned like almost 6 full years later. How'd you feel fighting Tony La Rosa? That first fight?
It was a little nerve-wracking, a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, just felt good as the fight went on, and you know, just felt good. Yeah.
And you fought
He
Rocky.
helped me get motivated too, because he covered a couple of good shots. Like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got to be rusty somewhat. 6 years off. Then you fought Rocky Papelli. Anything special about Papelli?
Just another comeback. It was just
So nothing stands out to you.
yeah.
How about Dickie Ryan at the Garden? How'd you feel fighting at the Garden, the Mecca?
Oh, that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was, you know, my dad fought there.
Mm-hmm.
We fought in didn't fight in the Garden though. We fought in the little room,
Yeah.
you know.
The theater.
That was nice. Yeah, that was nice though. It was nice, man. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. And how'd the fight go itself? Were you pleased with it?
Huh?
How did you feel about the Dickie Ryan fight itself at the Garden? Were you pleased with how you felt and looked?
Yeah, I was pleased. I felt like things were really starting to come back, starting to click again. You know, I felt comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I was really starting to get into the swing of things.
Yeah. Did you have the same trainer you had before?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you came to the Mohegan Sun. I remember that because I went to this fight with Brian Scott.
Right.
How was that? What was that fight like? I was excited.
You know, the funny thing about that fight was I called my brother the night he upset that African that they were really high on HBO. And I called my brother Bill. I said, Bill, man, it was, you know, Larry Merchant was all on this guy's jock, man. He was talking about how well he was, and, you know, folks just sit back and you really going to see something. And then Brian Scott went out there and knocked him out. I was cracking up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, he got rid of that dude, man. Bill was like, yeah. It seemed like then 2 or 3 days later, I called Bill back and said, man, give.
Hello? Say it again. You called Bill back and what?
I called my brother back. I said, guess who I'm fighting next? And he said, I told him it was Brian Scott, the guy that just knocked out the African.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you shocked Larry Merchant 2 times. And then you had that fight with Louis Monaco. That fight was crazy too. What happened there?
Yeah, he hit me on the break, man.
Yeah. After the bell rang, right? Was it?
Yeah, after the bell. Yeah, it was dirty fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what did you say to him after? Anything? Any words?
Anything, son. That fool, he left. I mean, he just left. I mean, we didn't see each other after that.
What round was it? Do you remember? Second round, was it?
Yeah, second up, third round.
Maybe he was just nervous, I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then you had the fight with Quinn Navarre. And that was a pretty good fight. How'd you feel after that, as far as your comeback? Did you feel ready for anything?
Yeah. Quinn, I thought was a pretty good fighter. He boxed pretty good. He gave me a lot of movement and stuff. You know, he was active.
Mm-hmm.
Getting some right opponents, you know, leading up to the, you know, during that comeback. Felt pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Quinn Navarre was a pretty good fighter.
Yeah,
You look good.
yeah, he's a football player or something, wasn't he, from Indiana?
I'm not sure where he's from, but I think he did play football.
Yeah.
I don't remember where he's from though. But then you fought Lou Savarese. Tell me about that fight. How'd you feel about Lou Savarese?
I went out there medicated.
The what?
Medicated, man. I had my sinuses was bothering me and stuff. Took these pills, man. It was drowsy. That was the worst.
Yeah. So Nothing special about Luke Savarese?
Yeah.
He didn't show you anything special?
Huh?
Nothing special about him as a fighter?
I don't remember nothing. I looked up.
Yeah.
But
And then did you want to quit right after the Savarese fight, or did you just?
I think I fought about 4 times after. Then I just gave it up.
How come you gave it up?
Just motivation, you know. The rest of my mind started thinking the other way, another direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to be a land developer that had some property that I was trying to develop, and decided to try to do that.
Your last fight came against Andre Crowder, right?
Right.
And describe that fight to me.
Well, because his name was in Iowa.
Hold on one second. Hold on 1 sec, James. 1 second, James. He's working. Nope, not here yet. Right.
Princess, be patient.
I'm sorry, James. My mother's ex-husband came by. What happened in the last fight with Andre Crowder? Hello? 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 Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm sorry. If that was my phone, I don't know whose phone that was. My mother's ex-husband came by, so I don't know, maybe I hung up on you. So your last fight was Andre Crowder. Did you know that was your last fight going in?
Maybe, sort of, kind of, you know.
Mm-hmm. And just your heart was out of the game? You didn't want to do it anymore?
Yeah, I was starting losing interest again.
Because you were still physically good. I remember. And then, how come you think you're not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, you shocked the whole boxing world. Don't you think that night alone deserves a Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but it's just not to be.
Man, that's crazy. Is there any talk about it anymore, or do they not even mention it?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Huh. You deserve to be, James.
Yeah, thanks.
And what are you into now? What's life like for Buster Douglas today? I saw pictures on Facebook of you with a boxing ring in the back, so you're still involved in boxing in some respect. And what are you involved with?
Just working with John with this young heavyweight we got this fighting this weekend down in Indiana. He's like 10-0, John L. Smith Jr. and there's a kid out in Columbus.
His name is Shannon Smith?
John L. Smith.
John L. Smith?
Yeah, John L. Smith Jr.
Uh-huh. And are you hands-on training him?
Not really, just giving them advice and stuff. Because really, with John, we're just doing so many different things, working with him, coming in from time to time, like with the hand pads with him or something. I sparred with him a few times in the beginning, but, for the most part, just, advisory type of thing.
Mm-hmm. So you do still get in the ring and spar a little bit?
Not anymore, not with John, but might go over to, the gym and work on the bag and stuff like that, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And what kind of shape are you in today? You look good. You look good in your Facebook pictures.
Yeah, look do all right, pretty good.
Yeah. Leather coat.
Hey, look, I can keep them off of me.
That's nice, man. How's your jab still? Still nice?
Jab is always going to be there.
Mm-hmm. You'll be 90 jabbing.
Yeah, that's right.
And are you married?
Yes, 3 sons, 4 sons. And
so you're just like your father, just making boys.
That's right. That's right. He's a man child. Yeah.
Is your dad still around?
No, he passed in '98.
Oh, did he? How did that touch you? Did that hurt as bad as your mom passing?
No, it didn't. It hurt, but you know, it wasn't like my mom. But my dad kind of knew he was gone because he had cancer and stuff, and he was really getting at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, though, he's a tough guy, man. He showed me how to go out, man. I'll tell you, that dude wasn't no regrets, man. He was the way he was. He never changed, you know.
Yeah.
He never did, man.
And how old are your kids?
Man.
Do you even remember? There's a lot of boys there.
Yeah.
They all grown up men?
Huh?
Are your sons all grown up now?
Yeah, my youngest is 6.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah. I got a 6-year-old boy.
I got an 18-year-old. Then he's like 21. Like Tokyo.
Say it again? I'm sorry. 21 what?
He's 21. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow's like 30.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great, man.
Yeah.
So you seem happy now? Seem happier?
Yes, do. I am. We're fighting the battles, but, you know, that's what life is all about.
Yeah. Keep on punching, James. I appreciate this conversation.
Sure, man. Anytime. Appreciate talking to you, man. It's nice.